Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new Mobile Pass Performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to DRF.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF Race of the Day for Wednesday, September the 9th. It's race number 9 at Kentucky Downs. Let's throw up the field for the $300,000 Tapit Stakes. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with me, as with most of the major stakes races at Kentucky Downs. It's a big field. It's a competitive group. We will likely have a tepid favorite at post time, and there's a good chance that there's plenty of value to be had. It's worth noting that the number 7 Ritzy AP just ran on Labor Day in the Tourist Mile. I find it unlikely that Ritzy AP is going to be in the starting gate on Wednesday. The 13 midnight tee time, the first horse on the also eligible list, likely to get into this race. Let's put at the Timeform US pace projector, and I agree with the pace projector. I think the 2 Get Western is going to be on the lead in this race. You'll note that Ritzy AP, the 7, is expected to sit second. This Timeform US pace projector will update. Head on over to timeformus.com after scratches are officially announced. This pace projector will update. I think the 4 Ramsey solution is going to be a lot closer to the pace in here. Gate to wire winner, 2 starts back, rated off the pace last time out at Saratoga. This horse is more comfortable when allowed to be up close to the pace, and 2 good things can happen for trainer Michael Maker, who has several horses in this race if Ramsey solution is on the pace. A, he might get a good trip for Ramsey solution, either up close to moderate paces or even loose if Get Western doesn't go. Or B, if the pace is fast, Ramsey solution helps things for some of his closers, including the number 1 Morocco. And let's go back to Morocco's most recent race at Ellis Park. It was an optional claiming race, and he was supposed to win. He was even money. There was a big pace going on with a runaway leader that came back to the field. Morocco ran right by, and it was a good performance for this horse. His usual effort, which is in the buyer range of high 80s, low 90s. My concern is it might take a high 90 to win a race like the Tapit, but we have seen Michael Maker claim horses before and turn them into stakes winners. He took Morocco for $40,000 over the winter at Gulfstream Park, and while Morocco hasn't turned into a stakes winner just yet, that last race at Ellis shows he is in good form, and he has winning experience at Kentucky Downs, which I do believe is very key. I think Kentucky Downs is a horse-for-course course, and you really want a horse that has run very well over this surface in the past. The 2 Get Western has done that. He went wire to wire in the 1 Dreamer Stakes last year at Kentucky Downs, and you're in one of his better buyer speed figures. I think Julien Leparoux is going to be aggressive with Get Western and try to get him on the lead. Now, they could not make the pace with him last time out at Ellis Park. 2 things worked against him in that race. 1, the soft conditions. I don't think he liked the soft ground at Ellis Park. And 2, the horse that won that race, Spectacular Gem, is equally fast out of the gate. And Spectacular Gem just got the jump on Get Western. Get Western broke from a tough outside post position, was in chase mode throughout. I don't think he's as effective chasing as he is when he's on the lead. Get Western, I think, will be on the lead in the Tapit. The number 3 is Hawkish. Now let's go back to Hawkish's most recent race at Monmouth, the Oceanport Stakes. He's going to finish second in here, and while the fractions don't look very fast on paper, you'll note that the winner of this race, Sacred Life, came from way out of it, and Hawkish was next to last early, and he rallies for second. We saw him hop back to his left lead. That's something he does. Hawkish has always had talent. He was a graded stakes winner as a 3-year-old, but injuries and various ailments have sort of kept him on the sidelines for elongated periods of time. J.B. Toner's putting blinkers on. I'm not sure what I think about that move. Maybe it will help him focus a little bit better, but I also wonder if it's a sign of some sort of frustration, that Toner's just throwing his hands up in the air, trying to figure out how to get Hawkish over the top, and maybe the blinkers are the way to do it. He's run against some good horses. He is a legitimate graded stakes horse on his best day. Give him some pace. Hawkish can come running at a price. Ramsey Solution is the number 4, and as I mentioned during the pace analysis, he went gate to wire 2 starts back. Now at Saratoga last time out, in a of 3 other than optional claimer, he broke well, but settled into a very comfortable pace-tracking, ground-saving spot. He was in behind horses briefly turning into the stretch, but he never showed any stretch fire, and he was just outrun from the 3/16th pole to the wire. He's going to be closer to the pace in here. I think he'll be right up close to Get Western, and he'll be in with every chance turning into the stretch. He has a lot of upside potential. He's lightly raced, but there's still a question question as to how good he ultimately is. English B, the number 5, from a Beyer speed figure standpoint, is very, very good. Here into 97 Beyer in the Maker's Mark, a grade 1 race at Keeneland last time out, coming on the heels of a 99 Beyer speed figure and the graded Wise Dan at Churchill Downs. I'm not sure what I think of the Maker's Mark. It was a race where this horse finished 6th. He was only beaten a length. It was one of those blanket finishes, whether on turf or dirt. I really don't care too much for it, because what are the chances that 6 or 7 horses, all separated by a length, all ran superior races? More often than not, those races are just not very good. I think the winner, War of Will, the Preakness winner last year, is a talented horse. I'm not sure about the rest of the field, however, and English B, for the most part, got a very good trip in that race. He was able to save ground. He really didn't have a straw in his path. James Graham was able to pick his way through in between horses and find all the right holes, and English B was running on at the end of this race. This is a horse with certainly the speed figures to make him a contender. He is going to need a little bit of a better trip, obviously, in a big and bulky field, but he has had the tactical speed in the past to work out good trips. From a speed figure standpoint, from a class standpoint, it works out for English B. He's a logical contender, as is the number 6, Hierarchy. And let's go back to his most recent race at Ellis Park. Corey Lanerie gave him a beautiful ride. He saves ground throughout. He gets to the outside of the pace setter Factor This, and he just can't get by Factor This. Factor This is just a better horse than he is. Factor This came out of this race to run second in the Grade 1 Turf Classic on Derby Day with a 104 Beyer speed figure, and he's one of the top 5 or 6 turf horses in the country. Hierarchy finished ahead of 3 next out winners in this race, and he just seems like a horse that's coming to hand at the right time. The distance is very good for him, but it is worth noting he did have a great trip last time out. Lanerie was able to save ground every step, and in a race at Kentucky Downs, in a big field, not only will a late runner like Hierarchy need pace help, but he's going to need a similar trip if he's going to be successful. If he goes off at close to the 8-1 on the morning line, however, I'm willing to gamble that Lanerie, an excellent jockey, can give him that kind of trip. I think Hierarchy is coming into form at the right time. Ritzy AP, as I mentioned, ran on Monday in the Tourist Mile. I'm expecting him to scratch in here, so we'll move on to the 8, Hembry, another Michael Maker train runner, a horse that finishes second a lot. 10 lifetime seconds on his page, but he does have a victory at Kentucky Downs. Last time out at Ellis Park, he ran 3rd behind Spectacular Gem, and let's watch that race right now. Spectacular Gem, again, kind of got to the easy lead when Get Western couldn't push him early, and he just kept right on going. Hembry was able to finish 3rd in this race. Mr. Misunderstood, the runner-up, is a nice horse. The 6th place finisher came back to it an off-the-turf stake at Churchill Downs with a 97 Beyer. Hembry always keeps good competition. He's run triple-digit Beyer speed figures in the past, a couple of them at Saratoga in 2019. It's just that he doesn't win very often, and he's the kind of horse that's going to likely need a trip, and because of his reputation, he's 9-2 on the morning line, and to me that's a little bit light. Empire of War, the 9's in very good form for Maker. He's won his last 2 races, including this race 2 starts back on Keeneland turf, where he rallied from off the pace to beat Morocco and another next-out winner. This was a fine performance for Empire of War, who came right back off this effort to win an off-the-turf race over sloppy going at Saratoga by open lengths. He was always a good horse as a younger horse for Todd Pletcher. I think he is reaching peak maturity now at the age of 4 for Maker, and he's a sleeper candidate with Tyler Gaffalione aboard. Hemp Hooray is the number 10. Hemp Hooray had a mini 2-race win streak snapped last time out at Indiana Grand. That race was against Starter Allowance Company. The pace didn't work out for him that day. He didn't have any to run at, but boy, Lee is taking a gigantic step up from a class standpoint here, and he's going to have to improve. Big score, the number 11. Got a confidence-boosting win in this race at Del Mar last time out. An optional claimer in his 2nd start of the year. I didn't think much of this field, and he had to work a little bit to win, but I think he's racing himself back into shape for Tim Yakteen, who knows how to ship and win, and Flavian Pratt gets them out. This is a horse that's kept some very good company throughout his career, and last time out in that optional claiming race, I thought it was a solid performance and a step in the right direction. He's 4-1 on the morning line, though, probably based on the gaudy company lines he's kept throughout his career, and again, I'm not sure he has such an edge over this field that I would want to take a short price. The 12 is Temple for Michael Maker, and let's go back to his last race at Canterbury, the Mystic Lake Mile. He only gets beat a neck, but I'm disappointed that he didn't win, considering that this was not the strongest field in the world. Here into 90 Beyer speed figure, he's a horse that's kept okay company in his career. He's kind of a listed stakes horse that you would think would fit in a restricted stake like the Tapit, but the problem is at Kentucky Downs, these restricted stake races often come up as salty as graded stakes races elsewhere. I wonder if Temple careful. A horse with good tactical speed that could find a good position might just be in a little bit over his head. And if Midnight Tea Time, the 13, gets into the body of the race, he's worth consideration off of a 96 Beyer effort last time out at Saratoga. It was a race where they went an elongated distance. He pushed the pace. He just couldn't hold on late. Maybe the distance a little bit far for him. He's another horse with winning experience at Kentucky Downs, but another horse with lots of seconds and thirds on his record, and might not be the most reliable type from a win standpoint. We take a look at my top selection for the Tapit, and I'm going to go with Hierarchy. I know he had a good trip last time out. I just think he's coming into form right now, and this is a horse who last time out was against some really strong competition. Factor this, the other next out winners. I think he's going to come with a late run. I think he's going to be a square price, and I think he's worth a little bit of a play in the Tapit. I went 6, 5, 11, and 8 for the Wednesday DRF race of the day. Best of luck.